If you watch enough YouTube videos or read enough social media posts about business, you're bound to come across some expert who basically says the reason that you aren't successful in business is because you don't charge enough. They tell you that you don't understand the maths, when in fact, they don't understand the basics of economics. Stick around because I will also explain the dirty little secret as to why they are doing this. People pay tens of thousands of dollars to hear this extremely basic advice that is wrong for most people. Why you shouldn't charge more in business. It's sad to see these self-proclaimed business experts post way too oversimplified advice and completely mislead people. For the majority of businesses, how much they charge is far from the biggest issue in their business, and it's probably not what's holding them back. Telling people that they just need to charge more to become a bigger business is such an oversimplified, lack of thought statement. Their argument usually revolves around something such as saying that I once spent 10K or 50K on this and it gave me great value. Or they will give you examples such as you spent thousands on college. Just because they or you have bought expensive items before doesn't mean that every business can just charge high to make more money. Just because you bought a house for a few $100,000 doesn't mean that McDonald's can start charging a few $100,000 for a Big Mac. Telling people the only reason their business isn't successful is because they don't charge enough is such a basic and naive statement. Many of the world's biggest businesses sell low-cost items. Plenty sell high-cost items, but people when they give this kind of advice seem to forget about the substantial amount of successful businesses that sell items that aren't at a high cost. Should businesses charge more? Maybe, but they should also be delivering more value. More value for less money is naturally going to be a better value proposition for a potential client. However, these gurus go to tell you that because someone paid so much for college, you should just be charging more. Yet the same people will tell you that college is overpriced and not worth it. So to really minimize and connect this, these gurus are saying because one industry scams people by charging so much for little value, therefore you too should just charge people too much for your services. I mean, come on, this is just such bad advice. Now, on a different level, for example, if you currently charge $1,000, but if you charge $5,000, you could offer so much more value, then that's a much different, entirely different conversation. However, the dirty little secret these gurus telling you to charge more is this. They are training you to pay them more. They tell you how they spent tens of thousands on someone else's course. They tell you how much value it was for them and so on. They tell you that they would never have got that value if they hadn't have spent so much. They are training you to think and setting the standard in your mind that consulting or training from experts is extremely expensive. How convenient that they then also sell expensive training or consulting. It creates a scenario where they can say, well, I paid 50K for that person's services, but I sell my services for only 20K, so you're actually getting great value. It becomes a situation of creating an idea of this is the regular price, so they get you thinking about how these services cost this amount, instead of thinking about what is the actual value of their services. The majority of stuff everyone buys in their life is a low-cost item. However, we all buy expensive items here or there. The cost of your groceries has no bearing on the cost of your car. Just because you bought a car for 20K doesn't mean that your bread should cost 20K or even $200. There is no correlation between the value of the two. Just because someone else charges one amount, it has no impact on how much value what you do provides to your customers. It might be that you do need to charge more, but it probably isn't. It's a childish simplification to think that just charging more is what is holding back your business. If anything, this lack of understanding, which in many cases is actually harmful, shows how out of depth many of these so-called business gurus are. As always, this is my opinion and food for thought. Let me know what you think in the comments and good luck.